Today we're talking all about how to stop being angry all the time.
Welcome to the Loveable as Fuck show with Sherry Yazzie. I am a plus-size Indigenous woman in a world that tells me not to love myself. I fucking do. Here's how I do it.
For more on how to defuck yourself, love yourself, and my emotional resiliency magnifying, life-transforming mindset hacks and self-care tools that you need to know now in order to transform your life and be happy as fuck, go belovableaf.com. That's BELOVEABLEAF.com.
So let's answer the question, how do I stop being angry all the time? Right? Now, if you're like me, you're a mom, you're out there, you're fighting for social justice, there's shit in the world that is pissing you the fuck off. There are people in your life pissing you the fuck off. Most likely your partner is pissing you the fuck off. Your kids sometimes pissing you the fuck off. I mean, let's get real. Like, this is not abnormal to feel fucking angry. And it's okay, actually, to have some of that anger. But, right, let's talk about it. Does it really serve us overall, especially with our kids and our partners? Does it serve us to feel that way in our relationship? Does it serve us, to have that energy of eye rolling every time your partner speaks, like, oh, this fucking guy or woman, like, seriously, right? Or does it serve you to have that anger with your kids, right? So, and then let's talk about even bigger than this. So, when the previous person who was president was running, I was so livid. I was so angry. And I was so disillusioned with so many people. And I was so hurt. And I felt it all the time. And I was like, okay, so here's the thing. I am standing up for a change in the world, but I'm miserable. I'm angry. I'm not feeling okay. So how can I stand up for the changes that I want in the world without being like adding to the negativity, the anger, and the hate? Because that's not what I want. That's not my fucking goal, right? My goal is to spread around the love, right? Love wins, right? Love trumps hate. Love. But without, I'm not talking just pure love and light, we pretend everything's fucking okay, because sometimes shit's not okay. Sometimes there is a problem in the relationship, or there is a problem at your work, or there is a problem with your kids, or there is a problem in the world that actually does need your attention, right? So let's talk about like racism, right? Bigotry, homophobia. These are real things. This isn't something that you can love and light your way out of. If I would have tried it, right? I'm a brown woman. I don't want that shit in my life. But I have a child and I have this bigger commitment, right, to his safety, to his equality, that he benefits from the equity so that he is here and accepted in the same way that a child of a white woman would be, right? Like, that's a goal for me. And so how do I stand up, use my voice without getting bitter, angry, and mean, right? Because here's the thing. Again, like I said, this isn't about love and light. This isn't about all that. But standing up for social justice, us moms, we need to be at our best. We need to be feeling fucking great. We need to be supported. We need to feel good in our skins so that feel good in our skin so that we can stand up for what we believe in and not have it be a detriment, not have it be another drain on us. So how do we do that? How do we stop being angry all the time? Because if you're like me, I got real clear. I didn't want to be angry all the time. I wanted to use my voice. I wanted to stand up. I wanted to make a difference for as many people as I could. And I do. But I don't stay in that anger. Now, sometimes am I sad? Sometimes do I get angry? Absolutely. Because there's shit that happens that is just heartbreaking in the world. Sometimes in our lives, heartbreak. And I allow it. I allow the grief, the feel like. So that's the first step, is validate your feelings. Now, if you are like me, in your childhood, your feelings might not have been validated. I was actually just telling my husband this story when I was like, I think I was like 8 or 9. And just a warning here, guys, this is going to be a little bit triggering possibly for some of you. So if you get triggered really easily around depression and suicide, this probably you want to pop off. All right. So I was around 8 or 9 and I had been abused, sexually assaulted when I was 7. And, oh, see, there's another warning. Dang. Anyway, so I was feeling suicidal. And I remember I said this to a caretaker, somebody who was my responsible adult. And they were like, "Oh, I need to finish my finals. Can you do this later?" So I'm telling you this story so that you can get that, like, even if your feelings were not validated, and like not validated to a huge extent, you can start validating your own experience and your own feelings. Now, why do we want to validate our own feelings? Well, when we're looking for outside validation, when we don't feel that our feelings are valid as they are, when we feel like we have to defend them, when we feel like nobody gives a shit, when we feel like, we start stuffing those feelings down. Like if we feel like our feelings never get validated, we start stuffing them and try to avoid feeling them. And if you're like me, anytime I stuff and try to avoid feeling, eventually there's a great big fucking volcano and blah, it's like dragon breath, right? And I'm burning shit down and I'm freaking people out. I mean, like, that's the level of what would happen for me, because I would just push and push and push and really keep those feelings down, because it wasn't safe to express them. It wasn't safe to feel them, because it was such an inconvenience for the people that loved me, right? Okay, so I mean, these are all decisions that we make. These are all fucked up beliefs that happen. And if this never happened to you, cool. But I want to ask you, are you validating your feelings? Are you letting them be okay? When you're sad, is it okay that you're sad? When you're mad, is it okay that you're mad? When you are confused, pissed off, happy, excited, do you like pull it back, or do you do it full out, right? Like, and is there somebody, or do you validate your own experience and know that your feelings are valid just because you're feeling them? There's no reason. You don't have to have a reason. Because see, this right here, when we don't have our feelings validated, we don't feel a really strong sense of self usually, and our self-esteems are low. That was totally me. I'm raising my hand. That absolutely was me. I didn't have my feelings validated. I had way low self-esteem, and I had no sense of self. My everything was always out there to try to get it, like, be okay. I needed everybody around me to be okay. So then I tried to control fucking everything, and everybody was miserable, okay? So, and I was always like, people are like, "Why are you so controlling?" And I'm like, "Don't you understand? I'm trying to help," right? Because I really was. But it was so freeing when I no longer had to do that. Okay? So start validating your feelings, because it's not just your self-esteem and your sense of self. It's even bigger than that. Like, when we do not feel our feelings, it leads to anxiety and depression. Okay? And so it is as simple as this. "Sherry, how am I feeling?" "I'm feeling kind of anxious and uneasy." "Okay, Sherry, that's an all right thing to feel. You know what? I understand. Did you want to say any more about that?" "No." "Okay." Or maybe, "Yes, I'm feeling anxious and uneasy because of," and da-da-da-da-da. And then, "Okay, well, I hear you. Because of this, you're feeling anxious and uneasy." And it makes sense from some of them that maybe that happened in your past. Like, you're reflecting back, you're listening. Now, this is a great skill to use with your kids too, right? And your partner. Because literally in our society, we are rewarded by shoving those feelings down, right? Sedating, numbing, going to Netflix and drinking, drugs, sex, whatever. Like, the next thing that will make us look prettier and younger. Or shopping, so many things. So we're sedating, we're numbing. So it's actually fighting the patriarchy to validate your feelings, to feel your feelings, validate them, feel them some more, usually for me, and then manage them. And it became a simple process. So I don't get stuck in anger all the time, because that's not how I actually want to live my life. Now, are there things that I feel angry about when they come up? Absolutely. Do I acknowledge them? Do I validate my own feelings? Absolutely. And then do I manage that shit? For sure. Because, right, I have this theory that the more joyful, the more expressed, the more supported, the more fucking dope our lives are. That's one of the biggest things. It's a revolutionary act that we can do to create something besides the patriarchy. Okay. So number 2. And validation. So it's really important, obviously, for yourself, but also to get some support here, right? So If you're looking for some support, I have that. You can go to the link in the description, check it out. I am actually moving, guys, into a membership. So you guys, if you've been like, man, this is just a little bit too pricey, come check out the membership. It's going to be live soon. If you're listening to this later, it's probably live now, but it should be live within like a week. Okay. Clarity. The next part of this for anger, right, is why? Why am I angry? Like, I do check in. So here's the thing about feelings. You don't actually have to know why. But if I'm clear about a situation that's not working for me, that is continuing to have me feeling that anger, I usually get clear on it so that I can shift it. Because I'm a big believer in, okay, if it's not working, how do we move it around? What could we try? What could we test? Is there a game we could play? Is there something else possible in this situation? Is there something else that could happen here? So I check in, like, why am I angry, right? Now, like when I was doing that example of what was happening when the previous president was running, and I was so mad, and it was all the racist comments, and it was all the people discounting the racist comments, and it was all the people in my life that I had no idea secretly felt that way, and it was so disillusioning, and it was really upsetting, and it felt very like I didn't matter, and like my voice didn't matter, and like I wasn't safe in my whole country, right? And that was useful for me to get to. Because without understanding sometimes where this anger is coming from, but let's go really simply. Let's say your husband or partner or, wife, they leave their shoes like on your side of the bed so you trip on them every time you get out of bed. It feels like they're like secretly trying to kill you, right? And every time you get out of bed, you're pissed because you tripped on those fucking shoes. And if they're like my husband's, they're fucking huge. So I fell in and then I had to climb back out. It was a whole big thing. No. But like literally it can be as simple as finding that and being like, oh, that's the thing that triggers this irritation with my partner. You know what? I am going to create something else here. Whether it's a request from them, whether it's literally you move the shoes, whatever. Like literally you can decide how you want it to be done, but let's have those shoes not be there anymore. Right? Like that. So having the clarity on why, right? I feel it's useful because sometimes, and it's not just, okay, why? Well, now I know, No, it's now you know, and there's something else available that you can do something else, right? Okay, and then boundaries. Oh yeah, baby. If we're angry, sometimes it's because we've been saying no when we meant yes, or yes when we meant no. And not meant, but like we wanted to, right? We wanted to say no, but we said yes. Or sometimes we'll say no when we wanted to say yes. Like maybe there was like a women's cocktail hour and you really wanted to go, but you felt like you had those other things and you couldn't make it work with your momming and all the things, right? And then you feel pissed that you didn't get to go do that. So boundaries is a really powerful way to one, allow yourself to say no when you don't want to. And allow yourself to get those yeses and figure out a way to get that support so that you can still do the fun things and be supported at the same time. And then the last thing around anger is fun. So for me, like literally, when I'm so super angry, I usually look at it and I'm like, okay, have I done anything fun lately? Have I been dancing around listening to music? Have I gone on a trip? Have I had like wine on the deck with a charcuterie board and visiting with a girlfriend? Have I, maybe like a massage or a spa? Or have I just tuned into the feel of skin on skin? Have I tuned into any of my senses? Have I been, really rocking out to some music? Or like, and I look and usually I haven't. Like I just haven't had having any fun. So intentionally interjecting fun. Now I'm not saying, oh my God, I'm going to kill somebody. You know what? I'm going to just have some fun. Although I do sometimes dance out my anger. Like literally, I'm all like, hard, like banging my head and stuff. The old head banging, back and forth. But it's more of if I've been angry a lot all the time, I start looking at how can I interject fun into my life, right? Because I used to live my entire life using anger to fuel what I was doing. And it worked. But did it work super good? No. And were people, some of them, nervous around me? Yes. Because my anger was always right at the end. Like right at the, you know how in Avengers and how he's like, you don't want to know, the Hulk is like, you want to know what my secret is? I'm always angry. That was me. That was so me. I used that anger to fuel getting shit done. I used that, and so I was always right. It was like a hair trigger. And I didn't want that. I didn't want that for my son. I didn't want that for me. And I didn't like living in that place where it was like dragon's breath could show up at any given moment. And so it really was starting to shift and actually allowing myself to have fun on a regular basis, to actually put it in like it was a habit, like it was a scheduled item that I continued to do, so that essentially I had a little bit more room before I got angry, right? And then along with it, I healed. I did shitloads of healing, right? I did energetic healing. I did my belief work. I raised my set point. So literally, I actually healed a whole bunch of things around that anger, because that anger was my shell. It was my protection, and I don't need it anymore. So see if I'll just hit on this real quick. In my beliefs, I was not safe and protected. Now my belief is that I'm safe and protected, and so I don't have to have that big shell anymore. Now I still have my energetic shield, the one that resides under my skin and the one that is out here, and then the one that's around my house. Like, I mean, I believe in that, but I no longer have to have this hard, angry shell, right? And then one little quick tip here. I have found repeatedly, if I'm angry with my husband, I need to have an orgasm. And I know that's like simplifying it, because sometimes in your relationships, things are not going well, and it's not safe to have one with him maybe, or her. And it doesn't, like, it's not the thing to forward that, right? But have one on your own still, right? Because here's the thing. Having that the release of endorphins, and literally just even for those moments, just being in one place present to one thing is healing and useful. Like, it's, I mean, obviously there's a lot of really good things about orgasms, but it's wonderful for you. For all the, I mean, there's like research and stuff on all the reasons why it's amazing, but for women. So, but with your partner. So let's say you're just kind of at a low level of anger, right? So this tip doesn't, work for everything. Like if there's been a big deal broken in your marriage and stuff, like that's a whole other thing. But I'm talking about basically you're just pissed. Like everything they do, you're just pissy. It's like, oh, this isn't right, and oh, you left your damn shoes out again, and oh, you forgot to shut this door, and oh, you're just nonstop, nah. And you don't like that. You're like, fuck this, what the hell? Orgasm, preferably with your partner. I was watching a comedian, and she's like, I noticed I was like really, nagging at him. It was like really, and she's like, and then I had an orgasm. And after that, I was like, I don't care if he comes home smelling like hookers and poop. It's fine. I'm not going to go so far as the hookers and poop thing, but it absolutely, I'm not as stressed out if there's stuff on the counters or shoes in my way. No big deal. Right? So that's just a little tip from me to you. All right. So here's the thing. Once you start working on this stuff, right? Once these things start coming up, then there is the deeper work, right? Because validating your feelings, getting that support, that's going to be amazing for you. Having the clarity around it so that there's maybe some workability issues that you can work on, for sure. Having the boundaries, absolutely, and then having fun. But here's the thing about that is if you don't have a window of tolerance to do this work, it can be super hard. And if you have a belief that continues to fuck you up around this, it's also going to, at least for me, it was like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2.5 steps forward, 2 steps back. I'm like, oh, I made a half a step, right? But it doesn't, like that, it's hard to keep on in that kind of thing. So for me, it was doing the belief work. And if you're interested in this, in getting the support, in doing belief work, in raising your set points, in actually taking on this underneath stuff while building a bigger window of tolerance, a bigger space for you, right? Then go ahead and down to the link, beloveableaf.com, and come work with me, okay? Like I said, the membership was going to be there in really soon. And in the meantime, if you want to email me and be like, hey, put me on the list for when the membership comes, you can do that. There's also my email address is down in the description. I would love to hear from you. If you have stories, if you have questions, and in case nobody has told you yet today, you are lovable as fuck, just the way you are, and I'll see you.
To send me your questions or stories, email me at lovableafshow@gmail.com. If you love the show, please comment, like, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, please leave a review and subscribe to help me get this show in front of more women who need to know that they are lovable as fuck just as they are. Check out the show notes or go to belovableaf.com. That's belovableaf.com for more of how to unfuck yourself, love yourself, and be happy no matter your size. I said it before and I will say it again. You are lovable as fuck just as you are.